Hey, this is Adam Torres, and I'm here to tell you that it has never been easier to start your very own podcast. At Mission Matters, our goal is to amplify stories that matter. That means we want to help you start your podcast because your story matters. We can do this in 3 different ways. 1, join our podcast school and take a free or paid course. 2, visit our resources page where we've already figured out what you need, such as where to host your podcast. Or 3, heck, we can even do everything for you through our podcast agency, including editing for cheaper than you can do in-house. Oh, and no contracts, service is month to month. Get started by heading over to missionmatters.com and click on Start a Podcast. All right, now let's get into the show.
Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Bryan Kramer on the line, and he is CEO and an executive performance coach over at H2H Companies. Bryan, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
So, Bryan, excited to get into today's topic. So we're going to talk about human-to-human leader conversations. So excited to get into that with you. But before we do, let's go a little bit further into what you're doing over at H2H Companies. So tell us a little bit more about your business, please.
Yeah. So the company is a leadership and coaching performance company, and we basically work with individuals who are entrepreneurs, they're executives, or they're CEOs of or executives of startups, and basically help them through performance within their business and within their own personal brand. And then we also work with individuals who want to increase their speaking ability, whether it's on stage or these days virtual. So we help them create their actual presentation skills and the keynote and go through a TED-style process to help build a TED-style presentation, and then use a system that we built to also get them out there in front of people on stage with a 49% accuracy of getting people on stage so that they can be speaking with people and with audiences around the world as paid speakers. So that's basically what we're focused on. And then on the leadership side, we help them increase their leadership and learn new tactics and skills to survive, especially in this new world that we're all in.
That's awesome. And I think that's a great transition. So let's just dive right into today's topic. So human-to-human leader conversations. I mean, where do you want to start with this one?
With leadership, H2H leadership conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you said? Yeah. Yep. So H2H Leadership Conversations is a series that we run where people can attend for a really small fee, and it allows them to get a ton of value out of it within 90 minutes. And they're conversations that you have with other people and us as we're guiding people through how to create something better, a new skill, a timely thing that's going on in the world. And basically we shape the theme of the call around something. Like the next one's going to be about digital, how do you get engagement and relationships, real relationships, when it's even more a digital world, which is something that I've been focused on almost my whole career. So that'll be a fun one, because we're going to get to talk through what a relationship means, also the different archetypes of what each person reflects. Each person has a different way of approaching relationships. Not everybody is equal or the same, and so we have a 6-person archetype, or 6 archetypes that we share, and there's a way of actually establishing what archetype each person is, so you can self-identify or identify others within those archetypes, and that way you're not asking somebody to do something that's totally against who they're made to be. And so that's the one thing that I think we all get wrong, is we expect everybody to be equal and the same when it comes to sharing in this world, and we're not. So helping them to become something a little bit different, or at least identifying how they're different, and then working with them in that way, in their own way, is much easier.
That's awesome. And I like to go a little bit more into kind of the nuts and the bolts and the format of this, because there's a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, executives listening, and what you just now described sounds super interesting to me, so I'm sure they're interested also. What's the format of the call? I mean, give us a little bit more there, please.
The format of the call is that there's 2 breakouts. So we actually we model a lot. So we'll model a conversation, or we'll model how we all get together when we get together inside of the breakouts. And so 2 of us, my partner and my wife, Courtney Smith Kramer, who I think was a guest on your show. She and I will model how this looks. So how do you determine an archetype? And then we'll get into breakouts and have everybody figure out with each other. There'll only be about 2 or 3 people per breakout, and they'll figure out exactly how to model then that same thing. And then we pull people out, have a nice little debrief, and there's a lot of learning in the debrief. From there, we'll go into the new model of the next stage of how to actually build the relationship online. And again, we'll model how that process works and go back into the small groups within Zoom and have them do the same thing within groups, same people, the second round. And at that point, they're also building a connection with the other person, which is what we really truly want, because everybody wants right now more community than ever. And so our hope and our goal is not only is there learning, but there's also community being built up, so that people are walking away with new friendships or new networking abilities to take away maybe some business. We've had a lot of people walk away with, new opportunities for their business, not just ideas. And so that starts to become a community, which we've been building over time. We've got a Facebook group then after the 90 minutes are over, where it's got about 3,000 people in it, where people go back in and they continue these conversations, and they have these really fun, engaging conversations around each of the topics. And so it's pretty fluid, but that's pretty much the way that each call goes.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I love, one of the big things I do like, is that you are building a community, and that there is that community building component of it. I think it's kind of unique into what you're doing, and it makes sense that that's a great way for people to learn. Number one, and then I mean the business part isn't a bad thing either, right?
Yeah, it's two sides to everything. Everybody wants to meet new people and also have a place where they feel like it's safe to ask questions, and even just, on their bad days, have a community of people that are going to help support them.
Fantastic. So Bryan, if somebody is listening to this and they want to learn more about H2H Companies or to connect, I mean, what's the best way for them to do that and to connect with you and your team?
Yeah, thank you for asking. We've got a lot of different ways to connect, but the best one might be to go to H2HCompanies.com, H2H Companies.com. The second way is to actually just go to my website. It's a pretty robust site and has a lot of things on it, including a newsletter and a podcast and then weekly articles and all kinds of stuff. And so if you go to BryanKramer.com, Bryan with a Y, Kramer with a K, and then you can subscribe to just about anything there. And there's tons of free content that is produced weekly that has a lot of really rich information of everything that I just talked about.
That's awesome. Well, Bryan, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about what you're doing over at H2H Companies. And so wishing you much more continued success. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave a review in the Apple iTunes store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments in the video. Love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And Bryan, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you.